This episode we're sitting down for a quick chat about Reiki.
Or Reiki, as the Japanese would say. So this is basically a form of energy healing that's quite popular in our neck of the woods.
Yeah, I see flyers pinned to all the health food shop notice boards.
Oh yeah, if you've seen something weird advertised at your local health food shop and want to hear our take on it, just tweet us at Seeker Skeptic or email us hello@seekerandskeptic.com.
Okay, so first question. What is Reiki?
Yeah, it's something to do with energy and healing. What did you...
Yeah, basically vitalism. So before we knew how the world worked and how biology worked, people had this theory that there was like a spiritual force that animated matter. Obviously, now most people, although not all people...
I wouldn't say most. Not in my neck of the woods.
think it's more about like, chemical activity in the brain and all this biology stuff.
And we've just completely ignored this idea of having an energy body.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of gone out the window. Basically because what the idea of vitalism or, spiritual energy animating matter, the reason why people came up with that theory was to explain why we were moving around and walking and talking instead of just lying on the floor like rocks. But now we know why we're not just lying on the floor like rocks, so we don't need that explanation anymore. So modern science has discarded it, but there are some people for whom have clung on to it.
Keeping the magic alive. Yeah, and in 1922, a Japanese man came up with it. He downloaded it. He received the idea. Do you know much about him?
Yeah, he was a Buddhist monk, right? Mikao Usai?
Let's go with that.
So he said that he discovered it in an ancient text, but people reckon it was more likely just sort of, he was putting together a lot of ideas, because there was already this idea of like laying on of hands type of therapy,
yes.
Pranic healing, all those sort of things.
You've even got that in Judaism, Christianity.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea that you could put your hand on someone and that will heal them.
It transmits something, or it works with this energy or spirit body.
Mm. So people, since he invented this idea, people have taken it in loads of different directions. I'm saying he invented it. He gave it the name Reiki, but obviously, as we said, there's other stuff around before. But the most interesting direction it went in was something called the radiance technique. This woman called Barbara Weber Ray said that this technique of sending energy through your hands to heal people was taught to the Dogon tribe, who we know a lot about, because when we're not recording this podcast, mainly what we spend our time together doing is drinking and watching Ancient Aliens. It's one of our favourite shows. Maybe we'll even do an episode. We can call all that research if we do an episode about it one day. Anyway, so she reckoned it was taught to the Dogon tribe by aliens from Sirius.
Huh.
So not the Palladians, it's a different bunch of aliens this time.
Next door neighbours.
Yeah. And now, this thing of transmitting energy through your hands to heal people has become a business for lots of people. There are lots of people working as Reiki practitioners. I took a look, our local Reiki school, it's called Brighton Holistics. They teach UC Reiki, which is based on this Japanese monk's theory of it. You can go, so basically there's the first degree, where you learn the basic 12 hand positions. Takes 2 days.
By the way, I've already done this. I did it on YouTube.
Really?
You can do it on YouTube.
Oh, maybe we can put some photos of you doing the different hand positions?
Sure.
Or is that not allowed? Do you have to keep it secret?
Oh, no, it's on YouTube.
Okay, cool. Brighton Holistics are charging £200 for 2-day course. It's only 10:30 till 3 though?
Yeah, the thing that you need a course like that for, hands-on, is you need to get attuned. So they would give you attunements.
Yes, exactly. So that first degree is learning the hand positions.
Yeah.
Second degree is learning how to send it over distance. That's £250, again 2 days. And then there's a second degree practitioner, so you can actually do it to people like as a job. That is £595. And a third degree practitioner, which means you can attune others. So then you can, I guess, teach Reiki to other people. That's £500. Then you become a Reiki master for £700.
So altogether,
£2,245.
it's not that much.
To be a master.
Yeah, and it's not very much time either. I think that's a pretty good business model.
This is so classic of our podcast, because I'm outraged by that price.
Because I'm pretty sure I've
Yeah.
dropped similar amounts on other spiritual things before.
So yeah, the attunement thing that you're talking about, that's like, you have to, so the idea is there's energy out in the world, and then you become like a transmitter.
Yeah, the thing is, you never give your own energy. That's important. You're only ever kind of acting as a conduit, as far as I know. But yeah, that attunement thing is almost like an initiation. Apparently in the ceremony, like, you don't open your eyes, you don't look. It's quite important
Oh,
that you don't see what they're
interesting.
doing.
That reminds me a bit of the like, you know, the classic occultist type stuff, like Golden Dawn.
Yeah.
When you get initiated,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to see what this. They try to preserve the mystery of the.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm just
It's
off the top
very
of my
similar.
head. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
feel like this crops up all over the place in the sort of stuff we look into.
Completely.
So have you ever actually been Reiki? And is that what they call it?
No, but it's like, you know, you meet people as soon as you start to meet other people into astrology and stuff like that. And as you know, living in Brighton, you meet every other person is a qualified Reiki master. So, but I still didn't know much about it. It was this mystery thing that I was quite looking forward to learning a bit more about. And I've already picked up some things, some principles that I didn't expect to be a part of it that I really like. So I learned these 5 Reiki principles, which were: I will not worry, I will not be angry, I will do my work honestly, I will give thanks for my many blessings, and I will be kind to every living thing. And I was like, oh, I like this already.
It's
You're like
aspirational.
anything that feels aspirational is a good word for it. Fuzzy and can give us directives for how to live, how to deal with the problem of how to live and how to suffer less. That feels good. So I didn't expect the sort of philosophy behind it.
No, me neither. Until you just mentioned it. Like, all the research I've done has just suggested to me it's like some kind of alternative medicine type thing. I didn't realize that it had a philosophy at all.
Yeah, and maybe this is just the YouTube guy, but I definitely recommend the video. It's interesting the guy who does it he's British, and it feels very like sincere, and it shows you, it goes through very quickly all of these different hand positions. The thing is, you walk away. I walked away from that being a bit somewhat disappointed. It's like, oh really? It's just me and my hands.
And can you describe some of the hand positions?
Okay, so one of them would be, you could place your hands, I think, over your eyes. I think there would be that. That one would be one. Pretty much every part of your body, like and they all have different names. So like, not names, numbers, as you know, like there are 12. So one of them is just like to get all of the different internal organs. You're just like, I think there's like a heart one, then there's like belly one, and then kind of like,
oh,
you
so
know,
okay, I see what you mean by hand. But I was thinking of mudras.
Mudras, yeah, no, these are just like where you would place your hands.
Oh, that's less exciting than I thought it was.
It's all less exciting than I thought it was, honestly. Maybe it gets more exciting as you like move up the levels, and this is just level 1. But yeah, it made me think a bit more of because I studied shiatsu for a little while.
Oh, really?
And it's like that, but without the pressure.
Shiatsu's just massage.
Massage, yeah, but you are also thinking about the whole time. You're thinking about the I've already forgotten the name of it.
The energy body?
The energy body, but also like all the different points.
Oh, acupuncture points. Acupressure
yeah, but there's
points.
like a name for that.
Chi.
There's a name for the system. Oh, listeners. Listen, like there's a certain percentage of listeners who are like, Kat, how do you not know? Anyway, that kind of map of the body, which Chinese medicine uses quite a lot. All of those different channels in the body. Having a knowledge of that. Oh, I guess I learned a bit about that when I was studying yoga as well. Like, you know, that is thought of as very real. And just because you can't see it doesn't make it not real.
Just because you can't see it or measure it or prove that it exists or falsify the theory of existing doesn't mean it's not real, listeners.
Yeah. In my world, that's, I mean, a good point. It's, well, then how do I know what is real? I haven't decided that yet. Undecided.
This is supposed to be a quick episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not get too deep into the philosophy.
But one thing I'll say is like, yeah, touch feels good. Like,
and they are actually touching you when they do this.
So you don't have to be.
Okay.
So, and I think some people. So one thing I'd never seen before, and I was on a retreat recently, and I saw people giving Reiki to their food.
What?
Yeah. So before eating, at least. No, I think it was just one person. Other people prayed before eating, which I think is really sweet, and I've actually started to do that. I think it's, and you do it too, technically.
I say the Thelemite grace. Go back to our Crowley episode.
She actually does this, listeners. And with the food, like she'll place her hands over it and sends it healing vibes, I guess. It's very like, it looks very loving, which is
I
nice.
think pausing to have a moment where you recognise that there are lots of people who can't eat in the world, and
show some gratitude for your
Yeah,
food.
exactly.
Let your stomach settle. Like, I'm always really stressed out, so like just to sit down and chill out for a bit before you eat.
Yeah, it's
Really
it's
smart.
interesting that this comes up in so many different cultures in different ways. The
Yeah.
idea of whatever you want to call it, but that taking a moment.
This is what I would like to do. Maybe we could do this as a big compendium episode where we take a lot of different rituals and beliefs from different cultures that are all basically saying the same thing and secularize them.
Yeah,
But, you know, and just like use them in our lives without necessarily having to adapt them.
So my
yeah,
experience with this, the reason why I asked about touching, is my dad was married to a woman when I was in my teens, who was a spiritual healer. That was her job. She had a healing room. We called it her healing room. I didn't think of it as Reiki. I think she referred to it sometimes like she would go to meetings and stuff, and it would be spiritual healing. That's what it was called, but it didn't have any other name. And the way she did it, she had a massage table, and her clients would come in, and she would put her hands like maybe an inch above their skin. She never touched people. And then she thought she was transmitting the energy through her hands to heal them. And she had like a regular roster of clients coming in and out of our house, who it was clear that they were getting a lot of relaxation, and she probably had some gentle chit chat that made them feel good about themselves. We also took it on the road to do those mind, body, spirit fairs, and she would do it there. Like people would sit in those massage chairs, and she would just like, and there was never really like, I don't think I ever asked her like what the theory was behind it, because it was like someone who was kind of in a mother role for me for that time. I can't remember. My dad was married to her for like we lived with them for like 5 or 6 years. I remember going to school with my stepsister, and we were in the same year, in the same class, and I can't remember what happened to her, but she hurt her knee somehow. And I remember doing the healing that...
You did it on her?
Yeah, that my stepmom had taught us to do, because it's a very easy thing to do. So the way that she and it's a really funny thing, it's come up again in my life recently, but if you concentrate, if some people, this doesn't work for everyone, but for some people, just concentrating on the palms of your hands makes them feel like they start to tingle. And
that's because you're magical.
It works so well for me. It's just like you don't pay attention to all these little sensors. Your hands are very, very sensitive, and you don't pay attention to them. But as soon as you start paying attention, you start feeling these strange little sensations. And some people get this more than others. I've been going...
I don't get
it. Yeah, a lot of people don't get it. So I've been going around these skeptic groups giving a talk about skeptical communication and stuff. And one of the things I talk about is the importance of realizing that people are having experiences, instead of just saying, oh, that's nonsense, you didn't see a ghost. Say, you saw something, you think it's a ghost, I'm not convinced, but you don't need to devalue their experience. So the example I always use is of this feeling in the hands, which a lot of people interpret as energy surging through your hands. And I try to do, because I looked on YouTube about this, I want to get the skeptics in the audience feeling this sensation so that they can relate. So I saw lots and lots of YouTube videos about how to make orbs. So the idea is, if we can transmit energy through our hands, this magical psychic energy or whatever it is, then we could sort of mold it into balls, and they're balls about the size of, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what you work with in Qigong.
Yeah, okay, so this is a popular idea in energy medicine, that if you put your hands as if you're holding an invisible ball and then just focus on your palms, you feel that tingly sensation, and it sort of starts to feel like there is something physical there.
Because there is.
And lots of the tips on the YouTube videos telling you how to do this tell you to like rub your hands together briskly before you start, or sometimes you should do like tap your palms with your other fingers. Sometimes you push them together really, really hard. That's the one that I found most effective using this with skeptic groups. So I've spoken to, I don't know, maybe 10 groups I've done this with so far, and I found that the most effective one is asking people to knit their fingers together, push their palms against each other. And I think it's something to do with activating the muscles in your wrists. But the point is to get them to feel that tingly feeling in their hands, get them to feel as if they're holding a ball of energy. And then I say to them, look, people who believe in energy are not making up these experiences. And they're not nuts for thinking they exist, because they are having a physical experience. They've just interpreted it in a way that we don't think is accurate because there's no science supporting it. But the really interesting thing is how many skeptics it doesn't work on. Like, usually I say, so this works better for some people than other people. Is anyone feeling it really strongly? And I usually get a few hands up, but lots of people just looking around like, it didn't work for me. Lots of people come up at the end and say, I'm going to try that again at home because it just didn't work. And it made me think generally about what it is, like why some people are drawn into these ideas and why some people aren't. And there is an assumption that it's about, you know, susceptibility to nonsense, basically, which is a bit harsh, but a lot of people think, well, these people are just silly and they'll be convinced of anything. But this particular thing made me wonder whether there are some just like physical differences.
Yeah.
Like these tingles are so, I can feel them now. I'm just talking to you, just becoming like, they're so strong to me. And they fit like, and I think back to my time when I believed in magic and energy and all those things. And I know that I would have interpreted them as being that.
Yeah.
But if you're a person who is just not hardwired to have those experiences for whatever reason, then it's very, very hard to project yourself into the mind of someone who is.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of the problem we have with generally communicating between skeptics and non-skeptics.
Yeah. And anyone who's like had any kind of spiritual, mystical experience, it becomes really hard to convince anyone otherwise when you've had a first-hand experience. I mean, talk about how you get your knowledge. Like, what a great way to get knowledge. First-hand experience. That's valid, isn't it? Thing is, it's like, the reason behind that is not often understood. And
this is the problem. Everyone's so focused on like, I had this experience, this was my experience. And of course your experience is valid and important, but the interpretation is where things get sticky. And the two people could have the identical experience, but have a completely different interpretation. And I don't think necessarily there's anything harmful about believing that it's energy, but it's definitely going to affect your life differently. For example, my stepmother went into career in energy healing, which she wouldn't have gone into if she didn't believe in energy.
What a good thing that she believes in energy then. So, but you had experiences with it then. So did it ever help you?
I mean, all the stuff that she used to do it on us with was like, you know, little, like I've fallen over, I hurt my knee, the sort of stuff that would get better anyway. Sure. I don't have any amazing success stories to report. And I mean, studies bear this out. So in studies, basically Reiki or energy healing in general doesn't work any better than placebo. And I think, I mean, we have an episode specifically on placebo you should go back and listen to if you're like, oh, but placebo's great. Maybe not so great. But anyway, there are some things that work, actually perform better than placebo, like massage, for example, like probably shiatsu. I don't know specific types of massage. So if you're going to lie down on a massage bed and get someone to put their hands on you, why not just go get a massage?
Yeah. I used to think that about like chiropractic work as well. I remember just thinking, well, most of this is massage. Yeah. With a couple of like neck twists, which are quite unpleasant. So let's just have a massage.
And especially with the type that my stepmom did, where she doesn't even touch you. You're not even get the benefit of being touched.
Yeah, you can go to a therapist and have the chat.
Yeah. So the Advertising Standards Agency have come across Reiki and been displeased about what people are saying about it. I had a quick look on their website. So the Advertising Standards Agency in the UK, for people who don't know, is basically like our government body that stops people making false claims about medicines mainly, but about all sorts of treatments and practices. And it's something that skeptics like talk about a lot, because these are the people who stop people saying, I can cure your cancer with this magic potion. Sure. So the ASA say specifically about Reiki, you can't say it has a physical effect on healing the body, because it's not proven to. You can't discourage actual medical treatment. That's a big problem in alternative medicine. There's often explicit or implicit, you know, suggestion that this is just as good, if not better, than real medicine, which is definitely not. You can't say it's effective for specific ailments. You can say, this is what they allow, it's relaxing, meditative, and increases overall well-being.
Nice.
So that's like that's what is expected of you if you're a Reiki practitioner in the UK. And if you are a Reiki practitioner in the UK, you might end up working in a hospital. There's about 50 odd hospitals on the NHS which have Reiki people. Nice. Yeah, I guess, I mean...
But come on, a lot of care is like, what they call it, like bedside manner. I think this is huge. Like, I recently had an experience in A&E, and the doctor there was just... The important thing was that he was lovely and joked. And, you know, it didn't matter so much about treatment. You're going to get treatment anyway. But that extra human connection, which is what, for me, Reiki is all about.
It does make me think about, like... like priests and stuff in hospitals.
Oh, yeah.
We don't see so many of those now. Maybe these people are fulfilling a similar role that a priest would have in the past. But it's annoying because there are people who are claiming that Reiki can like cure all sorts of ailments, which it can't. And when you say, I don't think the studies bear out that this can cure cancer or whatever they say, oh, well, it's on the NHS. Like they use it as a way to legitimize the practice. Okay. So that's annoying. And also it's like, I mean, the NHS has limited funds, as we're all very aware of in this country. And should they really be spending them on Reiki?
Oh, they've got bigger issues than that. They're wasting money on other things than worse things.
So why not
Reiki.
Waste on everything?
Reiki.
Yeah,
right.
And the Catholics don't like it either, by the way.
Oh, well, in that case,
it's not just the skeptics. Catholics don't like it because basically it's like, where are you getting this energy from if it's not from God?
Yeah.
So I have a quote from the US Conference of Catholic Bishops. I wasn't at this conference, I just found the notes online. It says, the bishops noted that the church recognizes two kinds of healing by divine grace and healing that utilizes the power of nature. Those are the only two you can have, from God or from science, nothing else.
But this kind of is from nature. It's actually from God as well. Like that's where this universal energy...
Well, they're not buying it.
Oh, Catholics.
So would you go and get a Reiki session?
I wouldn't pay for one. I'd do an exchange. I would like do an astrology reading or something.
That seems like a fair trade.
Yeah. Shut up, you. What about? And I take it you're not into it.
No, I probably wouldn't do it. I mean, it's got like bad memories for me of a not particularly nice childhood as well.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting thing, and I had no idea that it had such a that it was something in the Christian tradition and the Jewish tradition. It's not just this one weird thing from Japan.
Yeah, yeah.
And also I learned how to pronounce it, which is
Reiki. I think, anyway.
I'll stop saying Reiki.
So let us know if you've tried Reiki or any of the things that we've been covering on the podcast.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you. We are at Seeker Skeptic on all the usual social media.
TikTok?
Nope. Steam it?
No. Fine?
No. Stickle bricks?
No, you're just making them up. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode. Let us know with a tweet or an email. We'd really love to hear about your experiences.
Yes, please tell us what we got wrong. You can email us at hello@seekerandskeptic.com and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at seekerskeptic.
You'll find the show notes for this and every episode at seekerandskeptic.com.
And if you're interested, you can find my skeptically themed comics at rebeccaonpaper.com or follow me on Twitter at rebeccaonpaper.
And I'm at yoga_astrology on Twitter. And you can find me exploring the intersection of yoga and astrology at yogaandastrology.com.
If you liked what you heard and fancy supporting the show and spreading the word, we'd really appreciate a rating and review in the Apple Podcast Store or wherever you're listening.
Or just tell somebody you know about the show. Thanks for listening.